Well, hey, Adrian, here we are doing another Friday Live on all our social media platforms. So we're saying hello to everybody out there in La La Land and glad you tuned in. And hopefully we'll have, no, I know we will have some compelling information to share with you today. Adrian, who do we have with us?
Well, happy Aloha Friday, everyone. I'm so excited to have our guest today. He was actually born November 28th, so birthday's coming up on 1994, and his dad was in the U.S. Navy, a command master chief, and his mother is a retired teacher. He moved to Hawaii in 2003 and was raised in Ewa Beach, and he and his family has actually lived here for 17 years. Within the medical community, Dr. Elijah currently serves as a chaplain and ethics committee member for hospice. He's an adjunct faculty with multiple schools and colleges on the island, an officer in the Air Force Reserves, and pastor with Encounter, formerly New Hope Town. He's also a volunteer counselor in the Kapolei Youth Detention Facility, a mentor for the Hawaii Youth Challenge Academy, a local university counselor, education director, teacher, and president for a multi-congregation council on the island. Dr. Elijah, you are a busy guy.
Yeah, how do you do it
So,
all? I was
You
getting
sleep?
tired just hearing the intro, and I'm exhausted. No,
well, thank you both so much for letting me be on the show. It's an honor to serve our community, and it's an honor to put forth effort to making Hawaii better. So that's my goal, and that's where the time comes from the goal to help.
So you are running for the House of Representatives in the which part of Eva? It's like the first part of Eva that's your area.
Yeah, if you take like a triangle and place it over Ewa and Waipahu from Royal Kunia all the way down to West Lock Fairways and then over to Ho'opili and then back up to Royal Kunia, like a big triangle, that's District 39, House District, and I'm running for that office.
So what compelled you to get into politics? I mean,
Yeah,
you
so
have a very strong education background in community and volunteer, but tell us that story.
yeah, so for most of my life, I've desired to be a public servant, somebody who helps people. And in March, my friend called me. His name's Shiloh Tribble and said, "Hey, Elijah, you should run for office. Here's the reasons why." They were pretty interesting, compelling reasons he gave me. Basically, like what he thought I brought to the table, in helping the community. And then the very next month, I went to the Hawaii prayer breakfast and I sat next to somebody who was also running for office. And he said, "Elijah, you should run for office. Here's the following reasons why." And so he kind of coached me on how to go to the Office of Elections, file papers to be a candidate. Then I went door to door in Kunia asking for nomination signatures for me to become a candidate. And then I won the primary election by 60% of the vote against the party chair for that district, someone who ran last year. And now we're just days away from the general election. And I hope to serve our community in a greater way.
awesome. Now, the a lot of this you do a lot in the community. Obviously we know that it's not like you're gonna like you've won the lottery with the type of income you get from this position. So it's truly about giving back to your community. I've asked this question before of people in office or running for office. If there could be, I know there's many things that you have as goals, per your website, but if you could pick one that you really wanted to focus on, and we'll speak it into your existence in your when you do get elected, if there was one thing that you did want to focus on, what would that be as far as serving your constituents?
Yeah, I'd say based on the neighborhood feedback that I've been getting from going door to door, it would be helping the economy. So sadly, inflation has increased, taxes are high, and we need to help the economy. So one of the things I would hope to do to help our state is introduce legislation at the House that lowers taxes, specifically on excise tax for food, eliminate that, work with my city council members to lower property taxes, and basically just decrease the tax burden to help people use their income for what they need to buy groceries, gasoline, house mortgage, house rent, things like that. That's my main priority, is helping the economy.
Okay, Adrian.
I would say that's a big topic and things that it's on the top of mind, with everything that's happening in our world right now, especially with our gas prices, food prices, everything's going up. So it's a great goal to have to tackle. So now you've got on your website, I think Attilio had pulled it up. You have your other areas that you're going to be working on as far as the goals, and we could go through and touch on each one.
Yeah. So I would say the second thing that I've been hearing in going door to door to all 10 neighborhoods, talking to thousands of people saying, hey, if I get elected, what can I do for you? What can I do to help make Hawaii better? The second piece of feedback is safety. So sadly, Waipahu is unsafe when it comes to crime, when it comes to theft and violence crimes. Going one door in Harborview, a man said, Elijah, if you get elected, I want you to prevent people from getting shot on my street. Mm-hmm. So literally on his front yard, somebody got shot across the street from the school. So what can we do to decrease crime, to make our neighborhood safer in Waipahu? We can work on retention and recruitment with the police department. Thankfully, the city and county has allocated a good amount of funds for the police department, so they're well funded. But now it's a tricky task to keep those police officers and to recruit new ones. If we have a government that is not favorable to the police department, if we have a culture shift in media that says we need to reform the police department, we need to continually audit them, it's going to deter people from being hired, from staying in. So we can increase their benefits in the police department. We can help with the messaging. So if I get elected, I have the opportunity to send out a newsletter to all 10 neighborhoods, giving them updates on what I get to be involved in. And something I'd like to include in all of those newsletters is praise and affirmation to the police officers, which are doing a good job, and helping them have more police officers for District 39, more police officers for Waipahu.
Yeah, you hit something that's a chord with it, that rings a chord or a bell with us. We always feel that positive affirmations are a way to go, because people are so quick to complain. We love the police officers when there's trouble in their area, but we don't like them when they're giving us a speeding ticket. Well, I think as constituents, we got to realize and own the fact that they're not giving us a speeding ticket. It's a response to the behavior we have as drivers.
Yes.
So stop. We can't be upset with the police one time and then be thankful for them at the moment. Just be thankful for them all the time. That's a tough job. And I mean, I wouldn't want to do it, but I'm glad when I call 911 that they show up. Let's go.
Dr. Elijah mentioned that he went to every single door in those 10 neighborhoods.
I've gone to most of the doors.
That were open, right? I know some of them have gates or like maybe some mean dogs.
You've gone to each of the areas that you represent and visited with people that are in that community. And that's a tough one, for someone to tell you, hey, if you get elected, I want you to stop people from getting shot in front of my home. I'll let you off the hook on that. Not even the police department could do that, because that's about culture. That's about, just it's living in a society with a lot of people that are everywhere on the spectrum from good to bad. It's just part of it. But thank you for
a neighborhood watch, getting the community more involved instead of just not looking the other way.
That, thank you for being positive and hopeful and moving in a forward direction. So next one, faster commutes. Ooh, that's a big one. Well, it's something that everybody. We know in Hawaii, we love our traffic. No, we don't love our traffic, but faster commutes. Let's speak to that.
Yeah. So our district 39, Ewa Beach and Waipahu, we have at least 4 rail stations near or in our district. So our district is one of the beneficiaries of the rail. I know other islands and places on the North Shore or far west side, far east side, they're thinking, why do we need a rail? But our district would very much benefit from the rail. So as soon as it gets opened, I would love to champion it to stay open. Let's continue to build that as far east as we can. Let's definitely cap how much taxes are going to the rail. I think they've used more than they should. That's a revenue or a source of less traffic on the island, and I think we should definitely use that.
Well,
and see the rail kind of like they're like testing it. We're like, when is it going to open? We just see the car
going back and forth
all the time.
Yeah, I know one of the guys who's in charge of the project, and he said that they're trying to open it up by the end of the year from Kapolei to Stadium. I
Oh,
hope they
nice.
can follow through with that. That's my prayer.
All right, so we can go to the swap meet. Yes. And we, Adrian and I have had the experience, I'm sure you too, in Tokyo and Japan, how the public transport rail works, and especially in New York, getting on the subway and stuff like that. We were visiting a friend, and that was our main mode of transportation. I mean, getting around New York City, not even a couple of months ago. So it works. Let's see, Adrian, the next one, education.
Yeah.
I mean, well, for
So,
Dr. Elijah.
yes. So if we look at Arizona, they have a school choice program where parents can go to the Department of Education and pull a voucher. So all the taxes that is allocated to their child, they can then use those taxes to go to a private school, charter school, Montessori, etc. If we have that same system in Hawaii, private school parents would be able to have more funding in their pockets to provide the preferred education for their child. And then the Department of Education, their public schools would be alleviated from the task, perhaps, to provide education for more students because other students would probably go to other avenues. So I think a school choice option would very much benefit Hawaii.
Well, what you're saying is have the money follow the child. I have some personal experience with that because two of the three children that I have been homeschooled, and the reason why we chose homeschooling because it was either private school was too expensive, and then the public schools we were a little weary of it. I went to public school here on Oahu from first grade through sixth grade, so it's not like I don't have the personal experience of being in the public schools, but I do know John Stossel did a 2020 thing a couple years back. This was probably 10, 12 years ago, and it was called Dumb in America. And he said in other countries where the money follows the student, the schools actually compete for students. They try and get the best teachers.
It makes the schools better.
Yeah, and it makes them, when they compete for students, as you know, in anything, competition, makes us all a little bit better. And then it also provides more choice because, and I'd only put in my little add into that is to add homeschoolers to the list of the choices that parents could make, because at homeschooling two kids, I still paid all the taxes for all the kids that did go to school. And so, but we were homeschooling them on our dime and time. So that would be the only thing to add in is, maybe put a little line in there for homeschools as well and having the money follow them too. Go ahead, Adrian.
So you forgot to ask Dr. Elijah, what high school did you graduate
from? What high school did you go to?
Speaking of schools, that's the Hawaii question, right?
I feel humbled and blessed to have been homeschooled by my parents my entire life. From there, I studied at Pacific Rim Christian University, where I got my bachelor's and 2 masters with a 4.0 GPA. And then I got my doctorate in counseling at Liberty University. So private school, homeschooling, wonderful options. The public school system has amazing programs for a lot of kids. But I think when we offer more choice to Hawaii, I think we become a better state.
All right. And then, especially out on this side, homeless. Let's talk about what you might propose as possible solutions towards the homeless situation.
Yeah. So in going door to door in Westlock Estates, Westlock Fairways, there's some homeless people in the beach parks, the parks next to the harbor, also in the golf course, and the neighbors are upset. They'll say things like, we need to get the homeless out of there. So what we can do is we can ask the police department to utilize vagrancy laws to push them out, and we can partner with our nonprofits to train them, rehabilitate them, offer them services. There's a lot of good nonprofits on the island right now that are doing that. I've served with many of them, with the Assemblies of God, with Genuine Love Ministries, basically just giving food, water, shelter to these people. There are avenues of help that these people can utilize, and it's an opportunity for us to invite them into it.
I know, like right around the corner, there's the U.S. Vets, and then they help to manage some of those little tiny homes that are like right next door. And there's a lot of great programs, whether you're a veteran or not, to help you to get on your feet and just have the basic needs.
Yeah, let's get more tiny homes built. I'm thinking, even if you're not homeless, wouldn't it be, isn't it so much less stress just living in a tiny home? Um, all right, so I guess that kind of bridges into cheaper housing. I don't know if tiny homes would be one of your options, but talk about cheaper housing, or more affordable housing.
Affordable housing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we get
So
there?
if we look at the word affordable, what might be affordable to one person might be different than another person. I remember going door to door to somebody's house, and he says, "Why is it that I make $100,000 a year and I have to live paycheck to paycheck?" And I said, "You make $100,000 a year? That's amazing. I don't make that much." And he says, "Well, you got to get a raise." So the idea of affordable is really specific to each person. So my goal is to have cheaper housing, and that's simply bringing down the cost. Basically, the goal is to make it cheaper. So how can we do that? It would be an honor to introduce legislation where only Hawaii residents can buy residential property. That would exclude the outside investors, the people who just want to buy to rent it out for other people. And that would open up the market for more Kama'aina to be homeowners in Hawaii. If we look at Ho'opili, in some subdivisions there, they're building 4 stories up next to the rail. And that's smart because we have a lot of space going up, but not a lot of space going side to side in Hawaii. So if we have residential property that's 4 floors up next to the rail, people can live in Ewa, jump on the rail, go to town, go to work, come back. I think these are solutions, or I should say, steps towards cheaper housing in Hawaii.
Yeah. I think they could get rid of their car, because a lot of people in New York,
Less
think of all the
pollution.
expense of having an automobile. I know there's some freedom in it, in going around in the local community, but it's long commutes that cost us so much money. Next, you talk about community, and then you mentioned families are the foundation of our neighborhoods. You want to unpack that a little bit for us?
Yeah, not on the top of the list, but definitely in the main focus. When I go door to door, a lot of people say things like, "Elijah, we want you to be involved in the community if you get elected. We need more community involvement. We want our neighbors to come together and know each other." In our 21st century society, a lot of us love our cell phones and we're on that all day long, and we're in social media, so we're connecting with people through a phone. But some people, when I go to their door, they say things like, "We want activities where the whole neighborhood can come together, have a potluck, play games, just be together as ohana." So my hope is to be involved in each of the 10 neighborhoods community activities. So on Halloween, Ho'opili had a Halloween block party. So I was there meeting hundreds of people, being involved in that community. Royal Kunia is having a picnic soon. It'd be an honor for me to jump into that space and meet and greet. So my hope is to be involved and to help other people be connected.
So
Alrighty.
speaking of meet and greets,
Yeah,
we have one scheduled.
yeah. Everybody on the
Excited.
entire island, you guys are welcome to come to my house on Monday at 7 p.m. I live on Kaulua Coco Street. Just Google Tea Presso Ewa Beach. Look across the street. That's my house. It'd be an honor to meet you and talk story at 7 p.m. on Monday.
Okay, so
Well,
just
you
show
heard-
up and come meet Dr. Elijah, and you can talk story about all these initiatives that he has for these 10 neighborhoods in the Ewa Beach area.
Well, and I think we haven't gotten to know you. We haven't known you for a lot of time, but I always say that what you do in the community prior to whatever position you're going for says a lot about you, more so than what you're saying verbally, but all the action you've taken and all the stuff that you've done in the community. So thank you for that. That tells me that you are demonstrating a servant's mindset, which is what what we need more of in these political roles. Or I wouldn't say political roles, because political means you're like jockeying for it. I just say in these government roles that are here to serve our community. So business freedom,
servant roles.
Yeah, servant roles. Business freedom, that's a big hot one for Adrian and I, because we are completely unemployable. I don't mean that no one would hire us. It's just we've been working for ourselves for the last 15 years plus. And I will diplomatically say it's a little challenging being a self-employed, running a business in Hawaii as compared to other places which we do have investments in, Hawaii is kind of challenging for the local business person. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I want to say thank you to all the government officials who have done their part to keep our citizens safe from COVID. At the same time, I want to challenge us to never again implement any lockdown that's going to hurt our economy. And literally, it leads to a lot of mental health crisis when people commit suicide, have domestic violence, enter into divorces because of government shutdowns. So I am promoting and I am for business freedoms.
Yeah, I think the big controversy, and we can speak to it because we're not running for office, so nobody can ding us on it. We're just running a business. Is that it seemed a little unfair that the small mom and pops had to shut down, but the big boxes got to stay open. And I understand the logic of that, but that for a moment didn't create a fair playing field for the small businesses where, and as we know, the dollar multiplier for a small business is greater because that money circulates within the community as opposed to going to a big box where the corporate headquarters is not in Hawaii. So glad to hear that you're for business freedom. Adrian, any questions?
Well, I just want to say we're very excited to have you on our radio show on Saturday. And we're just, we're good. We're glad to know you and all of these wonderful things that you're doing in the community and that you want to further serve the community. So thank you. Thank you, Dr. Elijah, for coming on with us and for getting to know us a little bit better. And oh, here we go. Donation.
There it is. There it is. Click on the button and donate. So I know these campaigns are, you don't you don't have big corporations running you large sums of money and you've got to kind of bootstrap it here. So if anybody, I guess the best way they can vote for you right now is with their money.
There you go.
So go to the site.
Well, thank you so much for being our Friday Live guest. And again, we're looking forward to having you on the radio show as well.
All right.
Thank you both so much. I appreciate it. Mahalo.
Thank you. And we'll take ourselves out with this little video. Let me see here.